What's up everyone, I'm Dr. Brent and I'm a chiropractic physician in Central Illinois. The reason I'm making this online course on how to safely use massage guns is two things. Number one, I'm seeing a lot of people on social media use these guns improperly. And two, I'm seeing a decent amount of my patients come into the clinic injuring themselves, or even making their situations worse. I wanted to create an all-encompassing course that taught people how to safely and effectively use massage guns. So I split this course up into 5 different modules. In module 1, we give you 4 different tips to make sure you're using the right massage technique. In module 2, we go through each attachment and what they're used for. In module 3, we talk about specific ways to use in each muscle group. In module 4, we talk about where not to use massage guns and how you can potentially cause more damage while using them. In our last module, module 5, I give you specific protocols to do for common types of pain people experience. I do encourage you guys to read my story below that tells why I do what I do, but with that being said, let's move on with the material. These are 4 things we need to be doing to make sure we're using the proper massage gun technique. So number 1 is, how long do we use the massage gun for? We're going to split this up 3 different ways. Number 1 is to activate our muscles. So before a workout or before activity, we're going to use it for 30 seconds to get our muscles warmed up before they do whatever they need to do. The next is muscle reactivation. So during a sport or during a workout, what this will do is it'll remove lactic acid, keep that blood flow going, and help you perform to your maximal effort. We want to use this for 15 seconds. The last one is muscle recovery or for pain relief. So really we want to spend no more than 2 minutes in the muscle group. This is perfect for a post-workout or even after a long day at work. The next is how much pressure. A lot of massage guns have 3 settings. This Recover Vibe has 5 different settings. I like to have everyone start at a lower setting, and if you feel like you need a little bit more of a massage, you can bump your way up. With that being said, if you feel any increased pain, that's a good sign that you need to stop or bump it down to a pressure setting. Number 3 is stay on the thicker parts of the muscles, okay? When we're feeling the area, we want to find the most meaty part of the muscle and stick to that area with the massage gun. We'll touch on this in further modules, but we really want to stay away from the bones or the areas close to bones. Number 4, and this is the most important one, is we want to keep the massage gun moving as we're using it. If you stay on one spot and keep it there, and I've seen this in the clinic, what it can do is it can cause bruising or it can cause damage to that muscle, and that's what we want to avoid. So the most important, number 4, keep that gun moving. So now we're going to go through each attachment and what they're used for. So if you're a beginner or you're in a lot of pain, the cushion attachment is what you want to use. It's the softest material and it has a large surface area, so it doesn't penetrate the skin as deep. It provides a little bit more of a give when you're working with sensitive areas or treating around the neck. Basically, look at the cushion as your most general use attachment. If you feel like you need a little bit more than the cushion, the round piece is what you want to go to next. As far as firmness goes, it's a step up from the cushion. With it being more dense, it works better on larger muscle groups, so your quads or your glutes or your pecs. Next is our flat attachment, and this is generally used for larger muscle groups like your hamstrings or your glutes. It's made of a harder material which doesn't allow it to absorb any of the percussion. This allows it to penetrate deeper into the tissues. Next is our fork attachment. I like using this best in the forearms or the smaller muscle groups, but we'll touch on this more in the later modules. With massage guns, some people get a ticklish feeling as they're using the massage gun, and what this does is it provides 2 points of contact. When you have 2 points of contact, sometimes it fights against that ticklish feeling. Last is the bullet attachment. This has the smallest surface area, so it penetrates deeper. So if you like a more intense pressure, the bullet attachment is what you want to use. I like using this in smaller muscle groups or even trigger points, which we'll touch on more in the modules ahead. All right, everyone, so we're going to start with the trap area, or the area between the neck and the shoulder. So right here, the traps are a good area to treat if you sit at home and look at a screen all day, if you have neck pain, if you have headaches, shoulder pain. I'm going to recommend 3 different attachments. I want everyone to start out with the cushion attachment. If we need a little bit more, we can move to the round. And if we're feeling like we really need a deep pressure massage, we're going to use the flathead. Now, as we treat the traps, I want you to avoid the neck itself, the collarbone, the bony structures in the shoulder blade, and then the spine itself. So here's how to properly use a massage gun to treat your traps. What I see a lot of people do, and a lot of people make this mistake, is they use the same side hand as the same side trap that they're treating. What that does, it bunches up this muscle, and when you massage, you want things to be completely relaxed. So the way to fix that is use the opposite hand. So the next area we're going to focus on is the shoulders. Now when I say the shoulder, I'm not talking about the top, I'm not talking about the back or the front, I'm talking about the meaty part of the shoulder. Now again, if you work from home, the shoulder's a good area to focus on because our shoulders are brought forward and we're sitting and staring at that screen all day, so it's good to treat this area. But also, if you're doing a lot of overhead stuff, or if you're an athlete and you're throwing a lot, the shoulder's a good area to focus on. Now the attachments I want you to use in the shoulder are, I want you to start out with the cushion, of course, and then the ball. I don't want you to go past that because it can be pretty forceful in the shoulder. So focus on, again, the cushion and the ball attachments. Now the areas I want you to avoid are the collarbone. I want you to avoid the top of the shoulder and then even back where the shoulder blade comes in. And here's how we use a massage gun on our shoulder. Now to get our shoulder in a relaxed position, all we want to do is just lay our elbow on our lap. And the treatment's pretty straightforward from here. Another trick I like to use with this round or ball attachment is, at first I'll start massaging on the side of it. And then if I feel like I need a little bit more pressure, then I'll get the tip of the ball straight on the muscle. So there's a tip you guys can try. So the next area we're going to focus on is the chest, okay? And we're really just going to focus on just a little part of the chest, not the whole chest. I really recommend this area for, again, the desk workers, okay? What happens is when we sit and stare at a screen all day, we're kind of hunched forward, right? So our shoulders are brought forward. So this area stays really, really tight. So we're going to put a big focus on this area right here. Now the attachments we can use in the chest are, of course, the cushion, the ball, or the flat, but I want to add in another one, and that is the bullet attachment. Now the areas I want you to avoid while we treat the chest are the collarbone up top here, the sternum or the chest plate, and I really want you to avoid the center of the chest and all. We don't want to be pounding this massage gun right over our hearts. Here's how to use a massage gun on your chest. And in the video we just watched, what we said was we wanted to avoid the middle of the chest. So what I like to do is I like to just cover that chest plate with my other hand. And again, just try to keep this area as relaxed as possible. And then just focus on this corner right up here. Once we feel comfortable enough to where we're not going to hit that center chest plate, then we can lay our hand on our lap and just let this area relax. So the next area we're going to treat are the biceps and the triceps. So we need to stay in between the elbow and in between the shoulder. So we're just focusing on this area. Now, a really good time to use the massage gun in the biceps and the triceps is especially after a workout. Whether you want to warm that area up or even if you want to recover after. I recommend 3 attachments to use in the arms. So, of course, we start with the cushion for the beginners. Then we can move up to the round attachment. And we need just a little bit more, we can go to that flat attachment. Now, the 2 areas I want you to avoid while treating the biceps and the triceps are the top of the shoulder and the elbow. We really want to stay away from this area. Here's how to use a massage gun on your biceps and your triceps. Now the mistake I see people make with their biceps is they'll massage it in a contracted position. And that's not what we want to do. Again, we want to be relaxed. So the way to fix this is let that hand just fall straight down so that bicep just relaxes. Now the triceps can be a tricky area to treat, but what I like to have patients do is just bring their hand this way and their arm up like this. We don't want to come all the way out like this because that'll put some tension and some stretch on that muscle. So just bring it down and let that muscle relax. Okay, so the next area we're going to treat is our forearms, okay? We're going to stay in between the wrist and in between the elbow. So treating this area is good for people that are doing little tedious movements with their hands, right? It's like hairdressers or factory workers. This area is really good to treat for those types of workers. Now, the two attachments that I recommend for the forearm are the fork attachment and the bullet attachment. The areas we really want to avoid are the elbow and then anywhere near the wrist. So we really want to stay in the meaty part of the forearm, right in between the elbow and the wrist. Here's how to use a massage gun on your forearms. In your forearms, there's a lot of bony areas. So my favorite attachment to use is the fork attachment. This allows us to get around those bony areas, so we're not just hitting on that hard bone. Now the key with your forearms is keep that wrist in a straight neutral position. We don't want to let it hang down, and we don't want to let it stand straight up. Keeping it neutral will keep those forearm muscles relaxed. Okay, so the next area we're going to work on are the glutes and the low back. Now really everyone should be treating these areas because the world we live in doesn't really allow us to move as much as we should be doing. So, especially if you work all day and you're sitting in a chair, you're driving a truck all day, you really want to treat the glutes and the low back. Okay, so the attachments we're going to use are the cushion if you're a beginner. If you need to step up, we can use the ball, and then the flat if we need a little bit more of a push or a pressure. So we want to make sure to avoid the spine, even the bony areas on the side of the spine here in the pelvis, and then even the hip joints we want to stay away from too. Here's how to use a massage gun on your low back and your glutes. So with your low back, I like to do it in a seated position, okay? And I like to use the opposite hand to treat the opposite side that you're working on. So here's what that looks like. A good way to treat the glutes, I like to be in a standing position with my leg up on a surface. So here's what that looks like. Okay, so the next area we're going to focus on are the hips and the IT band. So the hips are right here and the IT band runs from your hip all the way down to your knee. So the area we're going to focus on is right in between the hips and the knee. Now again, if you're in a spot where you're sitting most of the day, your hips are flexed for hours upon hours, and that puts a ton of stress on this whole area. So we definitely want to focus on that if you're sitting a lot throughout the day. Now the three attachments we can use are the cushion, the ball, and again, if you need more pressure, the flat. So there's two major areas we want to avoid, and that's anywhere around the knee joint or even right on the hip. So if you can raise and lower your leg, you'll feel that ball and socket joint, and you want to avoid that area. So we really want to focus in between the knee and the hip. So here's how you treat the hips and the IT band with a massage gun. A good way to get this area to relax is to lay on your back with your knees bent. So here's what that looks like. This position will really help relax the area we're trying to treat right here. Okay, so the next area we're going to focus on are our quads and our hamstrings. Now these are great areas to focus on before and after workouts, especially if we're doing lower body stuff. And again, the attachments we can use are the cushion attachment, the round attachment, and our flathead. Two main areas we want to avoid is the groin area and the knee. We want to avoid the knee at all costs. A good tip is while you're massaging the quads or the hamstrings, you can actually cover with one hand the knee just so you don't get close to it. It's just a good safety measure. Here's how to treat your quads and your hamstrings with a massage gun. With both of the quads and the hamstrings, I like to do this in a standing position. It's easier to get the legs relaxed in that way. Okay, next area we're going to focus on is the calf and just the backside. We're not going to do the front of the leg at all. So the calf is what we're going to focus on. Now, if you're a runner, a walker, a jumper, the calf is a great area to treat if you do any of those activities. So the attachments we can use are the cushion, the ball, the flat, and if we have any of those trigger points or those knots in the calf itself, we can use that bullet attachment again. Okay, now the spots we want to avoid when we're treating the calf is we want to avoid the knee, we want to avoid the whole front of the leg. We don't even want to touch the front of the leg. We want to avoid the back of the knee. Other spot we want to avoid is the Achilles. So it's right here. It's this tendon that goes from the calf down to the foot. So we really want to avoid this area and just keep it up throughout here. So when we treat our calves, I like to be in a nice seated position with our leg and foot just relaxed on the ground. This will allow the calf muscle to not be overstretched and it'll give us a good position to massage. All right, we did it. We got to the last area. What we're going to focus on last is the foot. Now this is great to treat for anyone who's been diagnosed with plantar fasciitis, is a runner, they're on their feet all day, they're wearing steel toe boots, you name it. The two attachments I like to use for the foot are the ball and the bullet. So the areas we're going to avoid in the foot are the bones on either side of the ankle. Again, we want to avoid that Achilles tendon. We really want to focus on the bottom of the foot. We don't want to touch the top at all. So really right in the middle at the bottom of the foot, and we're going to avoid the toes as well. Now here's how to treat your foot with a massage gun. An easy way to get the foot in a relaxed position is to sit and bring your foot up on your opposite knee. That'll allow us to reach the area we're trying to treat and keep that foot in a nice relaxed position. That's important to note, to try to keep your foot in a neutral position when massaging it. Don't try to keep it pointed straight down. Don't try to point it straight up. Keep it nice and relaxed in a straight position. Now the following areas are where not to use massage guns. I can't stress this first one enough, but avoid the neck. There's not enough tissues that cover all the sensitive structures that are in our necks. A lot of neck discomfort or loss of motion can actually be treated in the traps. So really keep it to the traps and avoid the neck. Next is our spine. We want to avoid any massage directly on the spine. So when I say that, I'm talking about the middle of the spine. So really the bony parts that stick out right in the middle of the spine we want to avoid. Avoid areas where you have an artery, a vein, or a pulse. So that includes the armpit, the wrists, the neck. And if you have varicose veins, which are veins that don't have valves that are working properly, do not use on varicose veins. If you're pregnant, you definitely want to get the okay from your doctor first before using massage guns. This one seems obvious, but don't use on any open wounds, only use on healthy skin. The next is bony or tendinous areas. You'll know when you're on bone because it'll feel like a basketball's bouncing off your bone. But another big area to avoid is the tendon areas. So right where the muscle connects to the bone. We want to avoid those areas altogether and stay on those thicker parts of the muscle bellies. Avoid areas where you've had a joint replacement. This can aggravate what was done surgically, and we don't want to do that. Avoid the abdomen. There's no reason to massage your abdomen with a massage gun. And avoid any numb area. So an area that we can't feel, we can't give proper feedback to our brain, so we don't know if it's making it feel better or if it's making it feel worse. So any area that feels numb, avoid. And if you're massaging the area and it gives you more pain, stop immediately and go see your medical physician. Keep in mind, guys, this does not substitute any medical advice given by your primary care provider. The content given in this course is for informational or educational purposes only. Guys, after years of searching, I have finally found the best massage gun products. It's called Recover Vibe. They have two different types of guns. They have a mini gun, which is perfect if you work from home or you need something to travel with that's portable. They also have the Recover Vibe Blast, which is perfect to use in a clinical setting or even if you're an athlete. Now, everyone's heard of the Hypervolt and everyone's heard of Theragun, but this blows those two out of the water. I'm not joking. Number one is they have a much longer battery life than Hypervolt or Theragun, which means if you use it in a clinical setting, you have more time to treat patients with it. Number two is they have a lot more attachment heads and even a stand that you can place it on. But the best thing that they have that no one else has is an attachment head that heats up. There's 3 different heat settings. It's incredible. It's much better than the other product. And finally, both guns are super affordable. You're not breaking the bank to get the Mini or even the Massage Gun Blast. Whether you're an athlete, whether you work from home, whether you're a clinician, this company, Recover Vibe, has truly thought of everyone when thinking of their devices. I would not recommend a better product to anyone. If you're interested in this product, visit that link down below. It'll take you to the website. It'll give you a big discount if you want it. Otherwise, just reach out to me if you have any questions. Guys, these guns are a great tool to have at home, but only if they're used properly. I hope this all-encompassing guide gave you guys everything you need to know about how to effectively and safely use massage guns. I appreciate you all taking control of your health, and if you have any questions or want to give any feedback, please send me a message or shoot me an email. I also encourage you guys to follow me on social media. Here I'm giving constant tips and tricks to live a better quality of life at home. I appreciate you taking your time, guys, and take care.